Dit is housekeeping Austin Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? Let's do this. Start getting online right now and commenting on who is joining us. Insiders, we have missed you. It's been a crazy week. I hope everyone had a happy Easter and a great time with your friends and family. And it is Easter Monday. And man, there's a lot of amazing things to be blessed about and to be thankful for. And this is just one of them. So we love doing this each and every Monday with you guys.
As the Italians would say, Buona Pasqua.
There you go. All right. So go ahead, share, guys, on your page, onto all the groups, on your story, all that good stuff. And let's get hyped as we had the Ocean State Grand Nationals, April, I'd say 5th through 7th. I believe that's right. We got it this weekend. The Ocean State Grand National is going to be huge. I'm getting in Thursday in the middle of the day. Ooh. And ready to go. It's a big weekend. It's going to be insane with there's just so much going on right now. Apparently they're saying this is going to be one of the biggest times for like traffic and also flights and flying. So it's going to be wild. So
speaking of wild, dude, you were saying that there was like a storm. I just saw the lightning right behind you.
Yeah.
You saw my facial expression.
Sorry, I was like, oh, that was cool. Oh, wait, you noticed.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't hide my emotions, man. They're right here out on my sleeves.
Of course. So yeah, I mean, listen, WrestleMania is happening in Philadelphia this weekend. So the East Coast is gonna be nuts. All right. I actually fly back into DC, and Sunday I may just drive up and hang out in Philly to hang out at some of the festivities. I'm not sure.
As you should.
Yeah, but I don't ever get to do a lot of those things like that. I focus so much on martial arts. So maybe I should just to do it, right?
I think you should. I think the time is going to come where you're going to go, man.
Yep, regret it, right?
WrestleMania was there. I just didn't go, did I?
Yeah. At least go to some of the conventions, that are happening.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna reach out to a good friend of ours and see if I can hang out at his table at one of the conventions during WrestleMania weekend.
Drop the name.
Oh, come on, man. I can't let the cat out of the bag.
What are you talking about?
Said it.
Oh, that was all right. That was very good.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Cat. You got it. Let's see what you did there.
All right. So we got Ocean State. Oh, one thing before, just a cool moment for me today. I shared it today. When I see someone, actually, I didn't even go to see it first because I didn't know it was a thing, but someone posted, "Hey, congrats, Jeff Doss." The first thing that comes up on the Century website today is my face with a pose for with nunchucks. So it was really cool and just a cool dream like a dream come true that I didn't even really see, perceive in that way, right? When you're a kid, you're like, oh man, that would be cool to be in like the Century catalog or in a catalog, Now we're in a whole different world, right? It's a little bit different. Maybe that will happen. But, on the front page, the first thing of, the biggest martial arts company is pretty sweet. So shout out to
Century better start throwing some stuff our way, because I tell you, I'm about ready to start doing some more product reviews.
We're gonna get product reviews going.
Yeah, I'm itching. I got a few of them ready to go. So Century, Send us some products if you want. I'll tell you this because we're not exclusive. I'm not exclusive with anybody. If you want us to review your product, send us your product. All right,
Yeah.
reach out. We're easy to find. All right, send
True.
us your product. If you want us to review it, we'll review it. We'll even give a live sum up of it on the show. All right, if it's that great. But yeah, we don't really shy about what it is. I think there's only one product I've reviewed that was not very good. But whatever, it's not that hard to find. You could find it.
No. The funniest was when they reached out to us they actually reached out to me. One of the companies did about our review on their product, and they wanted to share it and everything like that on their
That
page.
specific one.
Yeah, I think it was even that one. Even though you didn't give them the best one, like they still wanted it shared. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Oh,
And
can
so
yeah. So I here's the one that I gave. That,
no. The
I'll say
worst,
it.
yeah, the worst one that you ever did though was the Macho Warrior foot pad gear.
Oh,
All
it
right,
was
but
amazing.
you go. I give it a 5 out of 5, but they rip all the time. I have to get a new pair every month.
I don't care.
How can it be perfect if you have to get a new pair every month and they rip, But
It just
that's the mind of Alex, right?
well, you're not wrong. But I'm
Yes,
curious,
sir.
what is everybody else's favorite foot pad? I have because I'm about to go down the lines. It wasn't even a foot pad that I'm going to start reviewing. I'm going to go through probably a set of 4 different types of hand pads, right? And I'm
Yeah.
going to review like all 4 of them at the same time. All right, Alex is in the chat. What are your guys' favorite foot pads? Because I think foot pads.
Dyna foot pads to him, and you and I both really liked the Warrior.
I like the Dyna foot pads.
I like the Dyna too, and the Warrior were good. What's cool, what's funny with talking to the Century guys, like they've been doing so much with getting the Waco branded ones and covered everything, and a lot of our guys, both Revolution and for Paul Mitchell, have been asking for the P2 gear. Like that's
P2 gear is good. I will say that the P2 gear is
very similar to the style that we grew up on, that foam dip. So that is really kind of a lot of the guys that kind of grew up in that era as juniors are wanting that still, So pretty cool. SAP equipment.
SAP was good. You know what? SAP is interesting because getting SAP in the States is not the same as getting it in Europe, right?
Right.
It's like, I don't know. It's like having a Guinness, here, having it in Ireland, It's probably it's actually Guinness is going to be what Guinness is. It doesn't matter where you have it. It's just a little different there. But no, the SAP gear is decidedly different here or Europe. But there's pros and cons to every gear. But everybody's got like a certain one. So the SAP foot pads, that's a certain type of one.
So here's the thing that I like, and so
that lightning is something.
All right. Century has these, but they're very limited on the colors and even the sizes. They're pretty much gone, right? But it's the multiple color ones which were big with Shihan, right? Where you had like a red pad with a white top, right? The top was colored white.
Yeah, word.
There was the back had an extra foam on the back that was blue, right? Remember DKT Force One? They wore those all the time, and those were Shihan style gear, right? That was cool to me. Shihan was one of my favorites. I mean, you got to think too. Shihan, that was the American Gladiator stuff. Like come on.
I know, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
To think the gear that a 300-pound, super athlete bodybuilder would wear. This is the same thing that a 112-pound point fighter is gonna wear, right?
Yeah.
All right, works out. But I mean, on that show, like you can't really have anything that really covers your face too much. Like
No.
that's one of the things that is kind of the downside to our sport when we have to wear, the shield and or the head guard and the shield. That's why like basketball players and baseball players are so much more recognizable than a football player because you know what they look like,
Yep.
right? But
It's true.
okay.
right,
We had no idea this was going to be a segment, but it was just a
No.
short one.
Yeah, it wasn't planned at all, but we're used to that. Also, at Ocean State, we have the Last Man Standing virtual fight tour, one of our great and loyal sponsors. We'll be back at it. So we get to see who wins the lightweight grand and who wins the heavyweight grand. Go at it. 3 rounds. It's going to be a great way to end the night. One of the final ones. Last year we had an epic fight with Alex Macias and Enrique Latona. That could happen again this year. I mean, there's going to be so much talent in the room. We got people from all over the United States, but we also have some people from Germany. Sandra Peters and some of those guys are coming over to compete. That really gets me motivated. What teams is going to look like? Who's going to group up with who? You and I were talking before. Zolt's going to be there. So Zolt, not saying he's going to compete, but he's been the coach of the German team for a long time, right?
No, I think Laszlo Gombos.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We messed up.
Laszlo
was has been a coach. Yeah. Mixed up before
But Zolt is, I believe, the president of Waco Hungary now. I believe that that's the case.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know that he and Istvan, and I think maybe a couple other guys they kind of run the Hungarian World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, I can't say that all of the Waco European national, international events are to the level of a U.S. Open or a Battle or a Diamonds or an AKA, because I don't think that that's the case, but they're really damn good, right? And when I say that I don't think that they're to the level of it, I think top end talent is really, really good, right? I just think that there's a lot of deep talent, like a lot of guys who are really, really talented. And I think that what they've done as a culture, remember, fighting culture, right? I'm going to keep using this term. Damian Rodriguez, when he was on, he said how important it is, and he was right, and he's trying to create that. I think that Europe has done, just all countries as a continent, as far as this sport goes, they've done a fantastic job of just breeding competition culture from a young age, right? So then, I mean, that's why these kids are 14, 15 years old winning, the adults or the seniors that they would call it there. So, which, by the way, speaking of that, when you register for a tournament in Europe, like you got to be careful how you register, right? So sometimes the terminology, like, you don't know. Sometimes you need a coach just to register. But that's
I get it, because it's like that when you register for Taekwondo tournaments as well.
Is that one weird too?
Yeah, it's just everything's different, and people, especially with the students used to certain things, it's really different. Yeah, man, moving into new opportunities. Looking forward to new stuff. It's going to be great. Excited for a big weekend. All right, so Ocean State predictions. That's kind of the idea. What? Of course, there's a lot going on. Forms fighting. Everything's going to be action packed. This is turned into one of the most exciting events the past 3 years, especially for fighting, but also it's high level everywhere. You have guys, especially on the Japanese side, that show up to this event that don't always show up. Kaio most likely will be there. Kaio Da Silva, Mason Stowell last year, both of them were there, and then you also have, Cameron Klaus and Diego, you have Sam Diaz, you have the top competitors that are already there, and you have the guys that kind of come in when they can. So it's going to be exciting. Same thing with our Korean division. We've had a lot of different people joining it each and every tournament. So pretty much all the top guys will be there this tournament. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be really fun to really see that and to experience it. And again, I think that female Korean division is exciting to watch. One of the things that I think we need to give some shout outs to, favorite 30 plus competitors currently. All right. This is always a great tournament that has amazing 30 plus competitors. And unfortunately, a lot of times we are in the side room there, right? But that room is action packed and focused, and everybody's having fun with the grands. Everyone is having fun with the fighting divisions, and it's just going to be great. So one person that I hope fights this weekend, last year he did not, but he fights everywhere else, is Akin Williams. He's always fun to watch and to be there for. Saturday will be fighting. Point fighting will be Saturday, TJ.
Akin is like a time machine too, because when he's fighting, I mean, when he's fighting, he's explosive.
But the open weight is on Friday. Sorry, open weight is on Friday.
As far as the schedule of fighting, yeah. So when Akin is fighting, I mean, he's explosive and he throws that rear hand just like it's 1994 again, you know. And then you're like, are you like 32, right? This is what it kind of seems like. And then he'll say something crazy like, no, man, I turned 68 tomorrow. And you're like, what are you talking about? You just say something crazy that you're like, this doesn't make any sense, right? I know Akin is not 68 years old, so don't get mad at me, Akin. But it just says something where you're like, this, my eyes see a different age than what you're telling me, right? But he's really, really fun to watch fight.
Yeah, he is. All right, who else are some people that you're excited to see? What up?
Yo, so funny. Right, you asked it right as soon as he chimed in the chat. I was literally going to say Anthony Merricks. All right.
There he is.
So Anthony Merricks, I hope to see him out there fighting. All right. He was looking good. There was a match at AKA that we were robbed of the entire match. And it's really just like, man, once you get north of 40, it's just like this stuff can happen. And it was Jamon Wiggins and Kodak Ray. And it would be really cool to see those two fight again. Because the first like 12 seconds, 20 seconds was exciting. And it looked like I was said it right before the match. I was like, man, is this 2010? What's going on? Right. And they started out like that. And then you realize really early on, nah, this is 2024.
That's funny.
Like, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not out there.
Yeah.
Right. So, but no, it would be really cool to see those guys out there fighting.
Yeah. And you got Kevin in 30 plus now. You got Avery who's 30 plus, that could happen. There's so many great competitors. The 40 plus is always stacked. List some more names, guys, of who your favorites are currently. Men's and women's too, because we got Miss Miller from Leclerc's that is winning most of the grands right now out there. And so she is on a roll and she is out there killing it. So I'm going to
drop a name that there's no reason to think that this person would fight. But they're not retired, right? What if Jason Borelli fights?
Yeah.
It's not like he's that far away from him, right?
Oh, that would be great.
Thanks, Anthony. I assumed Julio Lugo would just fight. I mean, I think of the Ocean State Grand Nationals and Julio Lugo that those two are just like married to each other, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, look at all these guys in the building. Mark G would be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, this would be a fun time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. There's always Freddie LePan will probably be there, so he's always ready to throw down and go at it. So that's going to be fun. Sam Diaz.
So that's another one. Like this tournament doesn't happen with Sam Diaz not in attendance.
Exactly. So we got the favorite. So we talk about fighting forms. Honestly, man, I'm telling you, like our divisions need so much more viewership because they're insanely talented and competitive. You got Tim Conkle, who is doing the circuit big time right now.
Yeah.
NASCAR circuit. You got Kevin Kowalczyk, you got myself, you got Samuel Diaz, you got Nick Kane, you got Joseph Bine, you got Eric Tremblay, who's always a threat to win it all. You have Andrew Cabalon. You know, I'm not sure if he's coming this weekend, but he's always there. You got Michael Simmons still out there doing forms and fighting. You know,
And fighting. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm missing other people. There's a lot of great competitors. And also
how tall Mike Simmons is. Mike Simmons is really tall.
He is really tall. He is really tall. So it's just going to be an action-packed weekend. Last year was a lot of fun, you know, and I think this year is going to be even better. Yeah, we can't forget Joey Castro is still a high-level competitor. So, you know, overall competitor, you know, we do it all. So 18.
Well, I want to talk about this division as a whole. You kind of mentioned it, like, man, we need to get more viewers on it. And I think that's totally the case. And if we take a step back and we go, okay, who are we looking at, right? You're looking at the greats in the sport, and they're there right now, okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, we understand that some of them might not be in the 18 plus, although some of them are, right? Like you or Sam Diaz, right? You guys still compete in 18 plus, right? Mm-hmm. And still win in 18 plus, right? But the guys who are in that division, they're not just bodies. They're not just guys who are around. I mean, they're really, as a whole, a lot of times, just really some of the coolest guys that people really know, like, and really want to be around. I mean, that was like when we were having our competitor of the week, and I'll have one this week. I changed one when I had Sam Diaz as my competitor of the week. I called it my real one of the week, right? Yeah. That guy just he's a real one, right? Yep. Because you could just have a great time talking with that guy and not even mention martial arts, right? Yeah. Although, how does that happen at a karate tournament, right? Come on now, right? But it's for real, right? But you could go down the line of everybody you just mentioned, right? All of them, just coolest guys in the world. So, and a lot of people like these people. Why not put them, and maybe not like make like multiple divisions in the finals, because I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of having less divisions in the finals, right? But at least at a time and a place and in a position and a location that doesn't make it look like we'll have you in the tournament, but you're over there. Yeah. While the rest of us are doing our thing. Like, optics matter, right? Feelings matter, right? Don't make us feel like we're like the last on the totem pole, when in reality, we're probably bringing people to your event, right?
There you go. And yeah, I mean, before I was saying the women as well. Women are always action packed. There's, you know, Dana Mitten's been in there, been winning some grands. We also have, you know, a lot of competitors from MAC has a lot of competitors. You know, you have Laura Marquez from Mexico who comes there. You got shout out some more names, guys. Keep putting those out there. It's going to be exciting to see. And who's going to show up this weekend? There's always, you know, this is a very, you know, talent rich area, you know, where we could get some people coming back from that 30 plus and 40 plus division. So it should be fun. So, all right, next predictions. So let's just go. Who do you think's going to win the big money? Who the key things? You want to go this one, or you want to go surprises we're looking for? Who's someone, time out. Yeah. Who's someone that can make a run?
That's the right question to ask.
Because I'll tell you this, get on stage that maybe people didn't expect. Last year, I'm just going to say it, I think the person was Justice Floyd. Justice Floyd made it to the semis last year, right? And he was,
I was thinking about this guy today. Yes.
He was that person that, you know, like, all right, you know, he you know, he found his path into that, you know. So who do you think?
Well, I think that's the right question to ask, because if you were to ask me, like, Alex, who do you think's going to be in the end? Like, I'm probably going to pick Avery Plowden. Okay. And I'm probably going to pick Bailey Murphy.
Bailey Murphy. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But that doesn't really tell the story, right? You could have the craziest tournament in the world, right? And I'd probably still pick those two. You could have those two and a bunch of duds. So and that's not what's going to happen, right?
Right.
But just say, all right, I predict those two in the finals, right? Tell me somewhere, give me some context. What happened, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think when you mentioned Justice Floyd, he can make a run. I was literally thinking about this topic today, and I was thinking about Justice Floyd. And the thing about Justice that really kind of surprised me is Justice is a lot taller than I kind of thought.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh man, if I fought this guy, how I do? And then I stood next to him and I'm like, oh shit. Oh, this is a little, this would be different, right?
Yeah.
And if we remember that VFT fight that he had, if there was a spread to be had, Justice would have probably figured out a way to have that in the first round. Right. It was a 3-round fight, and Justice gassed himself out and didn't come out the victor in the end. Anyway, we've already seen that and known that.
Right.
What I was thinking about for Justice is Justice already is one of the best kickers in the world. Like that is what it is. And I know that Justice knows that he can do that. When Justice doesn't feel like he has to do that, when Justice feels like I can score with anything, all right, and I'm not just trying to score points, if I'm just formulating like a plan, like then your identity is all the things that you can do and watch me do this. I'm not saying that he thinks that, but I think he could be extremely dangerous. And you can totally tell. Now, I want to challenge people to just watch a point fighting match with this objective. If you see two guys and you see one of them who's just trying to score points, or the other one who has a game plan, you can see two guys who clearly have a plan, who are trying to execute it, and it's the most exciting 2 to 3 match that you're going to watch, right? Mm-hmm. You can watch 9 to 11 barn burner that is boring because you're just watching two guys without any plan whatsoever, just trying to score points. And somehow some stuff is just out there. And here's the problem. The problem is sometimes a guy who's just out there trying to score points wins. Mm-hmm. So, and if they can do that, then they go, see, I guess, yeah. I mean, anything can happen. You could just go out there and do that. And then if you fall to like a Tyreek Saint, something like that, you can go, man, I mean, he's one of the best in the world. There's no shame in that. Like, that's not the shame's not in the loss. The shame's in you didn't have a plan, right? You're just out there trying to score points. And listen, I will be honest. There's times where there's like guys who I felt like were way better than me, and I had a plan. And there was guys who I felt like I can beat this guy, and I'm like, they are giving me a tough time. And this is one of the times where I really wish I had a coach behind me, because I'll just say names. I was fighting Jason Grenier. And mm-hmm. Jason Grenier, I don't believe he's extremely talented, but I remember one of the times I was fighting him, I'm like, I don't have a plan. I can't figure this. Everything I want to do, like he makes it so challenging. Like I don't have a plan, right? And I'm out there just trying to score points. And I end up in like an overtime match with him, and I lost. And then, well, that's the thing. Like if you lose a match in overtime, you're like, oh man, I almost had it. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't even have a plan. You were lucky to even be in that position. And that's the thing right there. All right. So this is a very long explanation of, yes, I think Justice Floyd. I think another G2 guy. What about Luis Nunez? I think Luis Nunez could make a run. Luis Nunez is a guy, and we've mentioned him a bunch of times on the show. He's a guy who's just cool, and I don't think there's a thing that you can look at and go, Luis Nunez is this. Right. This is Luis Nunez's best thing. I think he's getting really, really good at everything.
Well, who are really like, all right, let's just think of it right now. Who are the top 8 fighters?
Oh, that's a great
in North America right now? because really, most likely they're all going to be there. There may
Yeah.
be one or two that aren't. I mean, let's go Bailey. You got to obviously Avery, those two, right? Then you got to put Devin in there.
Devin and Cam.
Cam, Kevin Walker, Tyreek Saint.
I will still say
Latona. I'm sorry, you got to put him in the top.
All right, but I'm still going to say Tyson Ray.
And then you got Tyson Ray. I mean, yeah, that's 8 there. We're probably still missing some people. We didn't put Alex Macias in there, who's been winning.
That's the thing.
Look
at that. Alex Macias was in the finals last year.
Showing up.
Could Alex Macias beat anyone on that list?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
So who are we to say? Like, this is what's getting so much better about point fighting right now. I think if you took this 20 years ago, you could go like the top 8. That's pretty much who was going to be there. Like the top 8 in the country. Like, yeah, that's who's going to be there. There's nobody else who's going to beat them. Right? You know what I'm saying?
For the most part, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I think it doesn't tell the story if you go chalk and go, oh, yeah, it's going to come down to, Cam, Avery, Tyreek, and Bailey. That doesn't tell the story, right?
Well, and you know what, though? Alex, we're getting the same way right now with women's.
I'm so glad you said that.
You're looking at a straight-up team that has three fighters that could make it to the final of open weight, right? You're looking at a Revolution team that has 4 fighters that can push that are in that top 8, that are in that top 4, One has consistently made it to the finals many times and won open weight many times over the past 2 years, right?
Yeah.
With Yamina, you have, Peyton, though, was in the final of the open weight at AKA, right? So you have that. You have Brianna, who is always knocking at that door, You have Diamond G3. Who knows what females are going to show up with them, right? But they have them. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. You got, who am I missing? You got John Paul Mitchell, who's got really the top 2 females. I mean, you can't say they're not, right? And then there's several others that we can't forget
that are very good.
They're very good that could make runs for it. So
that aren't even really on teams. Like, everybody's kind of on a team, but like who aren't on teams that you could field, right?
Like a team fighting team, yeah.
Correct. So, well, I mean, you said the JPM team probably got the 2 best in Katana Everett and Katarina Herman. Okay.
That are the most successful right now.
They're the most successful. So wouldn't a good question be who can beat them? Because those 2 have beat each other. Those 2 have battled each other. Right.
Right.
One's got wins. The other one's got wins. Okay.
Right.
But if we're not going to pick those 2, who can challenge those 2 the best? Right. So I like that you mentioned the straight up team. So Savannah, how do you say Savannah's last name?
Wolanoliak.
There you go. I'll let you say it. All right. So I think that is a very interesting matchup there. So you take Savannah. Go ahead, say it.
Savannah Wolanoliak.
When she fights Katarina, I think she is a more talented version of Katarina when those 2 fight each other. I think Savannah does what Katarina does better when those 2 fight each other. However, I think Katarina can beat more people afterwards. Like, if those 2 fight each other and Katarina wins, Katarina's going to go to the finals. If those 2 fight each other and Savannah wins, Savannah could go to the finals. But Savannah could also be taken out in that very next round. You know what I'm saying? Right? Mm-hmm. And they're not that different in the way that you game plan for them, right? It's not that different. So I think I actually think Savannah might be a harder fight for Katana than Katarina. All right. And like I said, they're just so similar, but there are some subtle differences. I'm not about to tell
Yeah.
everyone's game plan, but
Right.
but I do think that all right, there's some ways that like if I was one of these women and I'm fighting them, all right, this is what I would do. All right.
Right. Right.
Um the person that I think is the most dangerous, that I think it is well coached, would be the hardest to beat, would be Brianna Nurse.
Okay.
I think Brianna Nurse poses so many threats to all the other fighters, right? And
Mhm.
I think Brianna thinks that she can beat all of them. I
Mhm.
think she thinks that she can beat everybody, right?
Right.
But she's not more successful than Katana, right?
Right.
She's not more successful than Katarina, right? But when they fight each other, right, I don't feel that Brianna feels a threat. Right? I feel like she's like, I can beat them. Right? They do not bother me. I mean, really? Who's more intimidating?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
Brianna. I think if anybody is gonna be like, I really don't want to get hit, I think
Right.
it's because of
Right.
I think it's because of Brianna.
Right.
I think she's the one who intimidates people if that happens, right?
Right.
I don't see it from anyone else.
Right.
I mean, maybe Katana gets hot. You don't know what she might do, maybe. But I
Yeah.
think Brianna, she's the one who would like if someone was going to get intimidated, it would be by her.
Right. All right. That was a good discussion. I like it. I like the different ideas. All right, and we kind of talked about just keys to victory. Let's just say, what does so last year Cam won, the virtual fight tour overall was Enrique, and the women's was Katarina, right? And that was probably
Yeah.
the best fight of the whole weekend was Katarina versus Katana last year. So and the women's teams was awesome to watch as well last year. I actually had to step in and judge that. I was watching it, and then I was pulled in to judge because I was trying to film for the main gang, and I had to get someone else to do it. But so that was fun. I don't know, man. There's so much to look forward to on the fighting side, the senior side. What about the form side? Last year, here's some
Yeah,
take
this is
I'm gonna
interesting.
see, and this is something that I think, and you know what, honestly, this whole thing could be eventually. I'm gonna go into a long thing like what you did.
Do it.
Eventually, could go into fighting too, but um, we're talking about how to win against certain people, right? Last year, I think Dawson Holt broke out and won a grand championship here.
Yeah.
But so many times he's been either runner up or even third in the grand, And a lot of times I don't get it because I'm really looking at it. And to me, his form is just as hard, just as better. And in a lot of times put together a little bit better and cleaner, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think, remember when I was mentioning just now when I said like, if you just take Bailey and Avery and say it's going to be those two in the finals, like, okay, yeah, that doesn't tell the story. Do you think it's harder for forms guys to break out of that than it is for fighters?
Yes. Yes.
I think so too.
So because a lot of people don't get to see the divisions, right? And again, a perfect example of that is what we talked about before, our 30 plus divisions,
Yeah.
Like you just look at the way the grands ended for it at AKA, right? So I won the weapons grand. I was doing more forms divisions, and I got second and third in those divisions of 30 plus and won my 40 plus. I had a small bobble in the grands for the 30 plus. Kevin was very successful in that. I didn't even compete with those guys in 30 plus weapons division, right? I let Tim and Kevin do that. And then Eric comes in and does traditional, and we're just all going at it. And I end up coming out on top. Doesn't necessarily show you that like who won the most during the divisions is going to win, because again, Kevin, I think, only lost one division at AKA, and that was to Tim. He won like
Kevin
5.
Kowalczyk, you're talking about.
Kevin Kowalczyk, yeah, he won like 5 divisions, everything out of his 6. But he still won the Forms Grand, and I won the weapons. So you just never know, right? But as far as with Dawson, so I feel like what happens with Dawson is people in some way see him as the next guy in the lineage and legacy of Cal Menchaca, right? And they see him as like the blonde version or and just the next version of that, right? Unfortunately, though,
Okay.
and the truth is, he looks up and respects Calvin so much, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell by his performances, you can tell by everything. He even uses Calvin's sword. Okay, Calvin gave him his sword.
For real?
So like, it's huge, right? But there's comes to a point where and I've given him suggestions, and I know he's really thinking about different things, but when do you stand off on your own? And I'm not necessarily saying what's it going to take for him to not be thought of, like, when you see him, you see Calvin, right? And again, this is not a knock to Dawson. I'm just trying to say, how do you find that next step for you to get to where he wants to be? Because here's the deal. This dude, like, how does someone that does what he does get 9 sevens? Okay. You don't get 9. Like, this is what, I mean, in grands. Okay. And it's just like, wait, come on, dude. So I feel like there could be some little things. Maybe it's appearance. Maybe it's, what you're wearing. Maybe it's you, instead of doing the double sword, you change it up to something else, something people haven't seen before. I just think this dude, on his performance, the way it's set up, everything is for him. He's making all the right steps. But what's it going to do to where the judges actually start noticing it, right?
Well, I agree with that so much. You and I have talked about like changing looks and appearances for Forms competitors. I think making yourself memorable is extremely important. When you say the name Cal Menchaca, just because you mentioned him,
right?
There's a few images that immediately pop in your head. Okay. And if Dawson is trying his best to be that, not saying he is, but if Dawson is trying his best to be that, I mean, that's like your favorite basketball player trying to stick his tongue out when he dunks.
Right.
Like, okay, I see that. You probably jump higher than MJ, but don't try to be him.
And I don't necessarily think he's trying to do that. I just think sometimes
it's subconscious, probably.
It's that, but it's also just circumstance, because it's just more of the thing. Oh, sword, we haven't seen a top level sword person since Calman. I know Jacob Pinto had some very good years as well.
Very good.
And a lot of guys did, but still same thing, people think Calman. So,
look at that. Look at even when Jacob Pinto did it. What was that, almost 10 years ago or 10 years ago?
Right.
You're been a while.
So his name, what people call him, is Mr. Clean. So, which, when you start getting labeled something, what gets you to a certain point eventually can be your downfall. So,
I do see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So, yes, that's a huge thing. But how is he going to flip and get past that, right? Because cleanness gets you to the dance, but it doesn't separate you from everyone else, right?
He needs to be Mr. Steal Your Girl.
It's just, oh my God. Wow.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Dawson.
And this just goes to another thing.
I don't know.
I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I was telling them about someone who I thought has the talent, and has the ability, and is probably the best, is one of the best in certain divisions. But I think they are more of a fan than a competitor. And what I mean by that is they are so happy to see everybody and so pumped up and cheering everyone on, but they're not doing that with themselves. They don't believe in themselves enough.
I see what you're saying.
And when you are there, like, you're there for a reason. All right. You
Yeah.
bought the plane ticket. You pay for it just like everybody else. So
Like he's
go out
still kind of
there.
like this person's still kind of starstruck.
In some ways, and you know what? It should be the other way around, because this person has done stunts
that good.
for people that like had done stunts for some of the favorite shows that you watch, right? So like really we should be a fan of theirs, right? So they when they come and compete,
Yeah.
they need to go out there and just and tear people alive. So, you know, have that just excitement, that passion for it, and show us it, you know. I know I'm kind of going little because
I
I
know
don't
you're
want
being cryptic. I get it, but it's okay.
but
You know, so I think you're talking about Dawson. It's a fantastic point. But what have we noticed over the last, like, I don't know, a few years is that sometimes it's the young kids coming in that end up
Mhm.
dominating,
right,
right?
right.
What if Mason Bumba wins?
I
That's,
haven't seen him do form. I mean, he did it at AKA, came back and did, you know.
I mean,
Um,
who knows? This kid could be in the lab. You know, if you take another month cleaning
right.
your stuff up, a kid with that much athleticism and skill,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
Colin
Oh, man.
O'Brien wins. Who knows?
Who
I
knows?
mean,
There's
it
a
would.
lot of
You'd have to look at it and go, all right. You'd have to kind of have the performance of your life,
right.
right? And someone might have to make a mistake. Maybe, I don't know, just because of how deep this men's forms or weapons division, pick it, doesn't matter which
Everything.
one it is.
Traditional, everything is. Yeah, it's wild right now. Traditional weapons is deep as well. So
Yeah.
it's crazy right now, man. All right, so this is going to be an exciting tournament. We're so happy to again be a part of it. I'll be there enjoying it. We'll be getting there Thursday. We'll be competing a bunch on Friday. We're doing all of our open stuff on Friday, and then Saturday doing Korean, and then all the grands, and just ready for a big event. So we're gonna finish this last 15 minutes up with.
This is the good stuff.
It's going to be fun. All right. Our top 5 favorites. Last week we had Marty Eubanks on. If you didn't check out the episode, go to our podcast and listen to it. Go to YouTube, watch it, listen to it. Go on this page here and watch. It was a great show. We'll have to have him back on. There's just so much that he didn't even get into. But, we finished with asking him his top 5 favorite fighters of all time, right?
Yeah.
So,
favorite. We said, and that's why we said it that way. Favorite, not best, because this is where people get so emotional. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Nasty Anderson was the best because he never lost. And like, he should be. If you're talking about the best, he should be on everyone's top 5 list, whether you have him one or not. Right.
Right.
So makes sense. But that's not what we're saying.
Right. We said
favorite.
Yeah.
So okay.
Hard. All right. So do we want to just start with fighters, like men's fighters? And then we'll go down. And then maybe do you want to do women's at the end, or do you want to do forms at the end? We got lots.
Let's go men's fighters, women's fighters, and then let's hit the forms.
Okay. So top 5 men's fighters. Favorite fighters.
Favorites.
Right. So hard.
All right. I will go first.
Okay.
Raymond Daniels.
Okay.
Jason Borelli.
Okay.
This is, if you've listened to 2 episodes of the show,
yeah, you know that.
Those 2 were cemented, right? Favorite. Let's see. This is where it gets a little tricky. Favorite. I think Trevor Nash.
Mm-hmm. God, so hard.
And, favorite. Mike Pombiero.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
And my 5th is Dewan Brown.
All right. Nice.
Dewan Brown. This guy. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
Twice over. That guy's one of my favorites. For sure. Okay.
it was so hard because I have so many ones to like that I
It
grew
is
up
hard.
loving.
Like, how did I leave Ross Cook off the list? I know. How did I
Right.
do that? Guys,
So I'm gonna go.
It's in life.
I'm gonna do similar to what you did. Like 2 that I know are on there is Pedro Xavier and Jason Borelli. All right.
I left Pedro off.
And then, I mean, honestly, what's funny, the joke for everyone in the main gang for years was, who's Jeff's favorite fighter?
Everybody knows who your favorite fighter is.
I don't know why. I don't even mention that often anymore. Jack Felton. So, yes, I have to put Jack in there, right? So that's 3. So those right there. And you know what? Like, really, my favorite, it's so hard because growing up, my favorite fighter was Jay Bell.
Wait, who? Jay Bell?
Bell, and he was from my area and favorite to watch in the local circuit, and then watching him later on. So I got to put him in there. And then for me, it's like stuck on like Trevor, Marty Eubanks, and like,
yeah.
I mean, there's so many that I mean, honestly, same thing for me. You know what? Someone I'm going to put in there, my favorite, last one, Brian Young. Brian Young is one of my favorite fighters. He's just always fun to watch.
Yes.
And he had such a counter fighter style that like he was smooth with it, but also like you knew like he was legit too. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so those are my 5. So
I really wanted to have a good fight
Jason,
against him. He and I were in the same division like 2 times, and we never fought each other. And we had a conversation one time, and we're like, "Oh man, I really wanted to fight you." And when he said that to me, I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know." In my head, I'm thinking, "I don't know if I would beat you."
All right, so that's our men's fight. So what did I say?
And there's so many guys. Like, how did I have Robbie Lavoie off? I was really thinking Anthony Price.
Really, I mean, there's so many. Yeah, it's tough, and there's some right now who are some of my favorite.
I know.
Yeah, Ross.
But you got it. You can only just your 5 favorites this week. Who knows? Maybe next week you like mint chocolate chip ice cream. You never know.
It's true. All right, women's fighters. All right, I'm gonna go first on this one. So I got Nikki Carson. That's an easy one for me, right? His favorite. I got Dottie White. Dottie White's one of my favorites of all time to watch. She was, definitely a teammate of mine, but just always brought that energy and that fire, that fight to the fight. Claire Kokoza's leg is just amazing to me. I'm going to go Chelsea Nash. And honestly, wait, I haven't said. See, there's so many people leaving off too. Regina. I'm going to go Regina. Yeah. So I got Regina, Nikki, Dottie, Claire, Chelsea. Yeah.
You didn't say Morgan.
Right. I just said favorite. Like,
she is one of my favorites.
I mean, she is, but it's also like, I have those ones that I came up with. Like, it's just hard.
Because there's a lot of them. Because I thought there's a chance you might have picked Tara Van Duzen.
Well, that was another one that I would really.
I thought you might have said that.
It really is someone. She would be right there, and it's so funny because I always say most underrated fighter is her, and then I even underrated her myself. Like, what the heck?
Well, I am going to echo some of yours, and I am going to say Nikki Carlson Lee. I think she's number 1. Boom, number 1. Right. I am also going to say Chelsea Nash and Morgan Plowden as well.
Yep.
So now I got 3. I am going to pick another one you picked in Claire Kokoza.
Yeah.
Now my last one is Joyce Blanco.
Oh, I feel like
Joyce,
did.
Joyce Blanco. She was so freaking good.
Yeah, she was.
And you know what's funny about Joyce Blanco is I think she smiled during most of her fights as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she's just out here like, isn't everything a great day? Only she say it in Spanish, right?
Right.
And she's just having a great time while she's kicking people in the face and reach handing them across the nose. So yeah, that would be my top 5. What's our next category?
All right, let's go.
We're going
Trying to
men's
think.
forms. Are we going to do just like men's forms?
You want to
women's
do
forms?
men's, or do you want to go like break it down? Just men or women traditional forms, men or women CMX forms, men or women CMX weapons.
I don't
men
know.
or
I
women
think shouldn't we
traditional
just put forms, weapons? Or you want
No.
to break it out?
Oh, you got to break down. You cannot listen. I cannot put.
Okay, I'm just asked the
What will
question.
happen if you say that? Then I'll have like all CMX and be like, wait, but these are the I don't.
I know. Don't worry about it. All right, we'll break it up.
I don't view traditional forms and open forms the same, and like they shouldn't go against each other. Shouldn't have never happened. But anyways, go ahead.
But okay.
You are okay with it, but you're from Minnesota, so you're used to it. All right. Anyways, I don't know. That's never mind. That's probably never mind. A weird one. Anyways, but you kind of know
what we got now. We got men's traditional.
Let's go men's traditional. No. Why wouldn't you? We're just saying traditional forms.
Oh, so just men's and women's traditional forms.
Why not?
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Because 5 of each, that's a lot. Let's just go. All right.
Okay. I'm going. Okay.
Well, I'll go. Do you want me to go first?
You
All right.
go.
So Keith Weston, Casey Nash Marks,
Yep.
Daniela Barrientos. Those are my 3 there. This is traditional forms. For me, the person that I looked up to a lot, and I think most people did growing up for Korean forms in the NBL, was Ramir Mosqueda.
Ooh,
He is from California. He was same school as Jimmy Pham, and really helped Jimmy as far as with his Korean. And then this is tough.
Uh-huh.
That last one.
You got so many you could put on there.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure that I'm going to forget someone as well from that. I'm going to go Joey Castro.
Joey Castro. Okay.
Yep.
All right. My favorites. Okay. Right? This is what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right.
And this is in the open circuit too, people. So we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have Japanese, Korean, and what have you. Okay. Ariel Torres.
Okay.
John Su.
Yeah. See, there we go. I knew I'd met somebody.
And remember, John Su did Korean and won, and John Su did Japanese and won.
Yeah, honestly, he's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. No, he's not. You left him off your list. He's one of my favorites.
It's true.
Okay. Casey Nash.
She did Korean as well.
And let's see here. Jeff Doss.
Okay.
And my final one, Anthony Murata.
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Look, I got a good mix of Korean and Japanese.
I know.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
All right. So see, that was good. We had some women, we had some men mixed in. I think that was good. And we could, of course, broke it down even more. All right. Weapons. You want to go stay in traditional, and then we'll finish with CMX. So traditional weapons, because that's very difficult. That's hard.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that.
For me,
you gonna do traditional weapons, or you want to?
I'm gonna do traditional weapons. So I'm gonna go right now. So traditional weapons to me. I'm gonna
let you do traditional weapons.
All right, traditional weapons. I'm gonna go Pete Day.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Brett was like, no Gabe. Oh, it was like on my Gabe. How did I not have Gabe Renaga?
So I got Pete Day Puck. I got
oh, Oh, that's very good.
This is a tough one. See, here we go. All right. You know what? Jay Presley is one of my favorites to watch. And again, we go back and forth on if that's traditional or not, but he's definitely, it's exciting and it's so powerful, right? So beat Puck, Jay Presley. I gotta go Nick Kane. All right, his traditional weapons was great as well. Then I'm gonna go someone that can kind of do it all is Joey. Joey can do a lot of different weapons.
Castro.
Joey Castro. All right. And then someone who I think, and see, this is tough too, because I have a hard time putting swords in there. I don't know why. I don't.
It's
So it's
hard.
like I could put, there's so many other ones I could put in
I
there,
know.
but like I'm going to put Becca Ross in there for bow. Like I feel like on a traditional bow side in NASCAR traditional, she always like was consistent, and again, I don't know if I'm putting my favorites in there. I really don't know, like it's a tough one.
Just your favorites. I got some here. This is gonna be good.
All right.
Is that all? Is that your 5?
I think that's 5. Yeah.
Let me hear it again.
Pete Puck, Joey Castro, Nick Kane, Jake Presley, Becca Ross.
Okay. My favorites. I am also gonna say Jake Presley. Kevin Thompson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's someone that should have been on there.
Yeah. Let's see here. This one's wild, but it's one of my favorites. And no one would think of this person as traditional weapons. But Wayne Douglas.
Okay.
I know you're giving me the side eye. Listen, and there's a personal reason. This kid I would train with this kid, and who was it? Oh, I was training with like he and Casey, and which that's the other one. All right, Casey. All right, Casey Nash. I was just so impressed with how this kid could be fast, because he at his time there was nobody faster than him. Right, and just being in those training sessions, well, like a fly on the wall. All right, I wasn't in it. And being able to see what this kid could do, and then at like 10 years old, kids teaching me like a traditional bow form, bow kata, right? And I'm like, this is madness to me. Like I couldn't believe it. So one of my favorites. All right, so we got Jake, Kevin Thompson, Wayne,
Casey.
Who's my next one? Oh. It's hard because we were talking, is it traditional? It's hard to you. How do you throw a sword in there? Because it's really tricky, right? Because I'm gonna be honest, I can't tell what's like truly traditional with a sword. I'm not good enough. And the people who have talked to me, who've said that they're good enough to be able to tell, they're like, there's no way a traditional sword form could last that long.
Right.
I guess I'd have to say Mike Bernardo.
Yeah, technically that would be traditional nowadays.
It would be. Isn't that crazy?
I wouldn't put that as that, but yeah, she did. She definitely did. So, all right, let's go CMX weapons, and then we'll go forms.
Okay.
All right, CMX weapons. I'm gonna go Kalman. Ho Young Pak.
Oh, nice.
3 sectional staff. Rudy Raynon.
Saw that one. That's good.
Matt Emming. Yeah.
So many.
And see, again, this is where we may need to split it on a male and female, because it's really hard to, like.
No, let's just do it. It's too late. What are you gonna do?
Oh, no. All right, I'm gonna go with someone that maybe didn't people, but was always my favorite to watch as a common competitor, Michaela Johnson.
Okay, that's a good one.
Super clean with a lot of very innovative tricks that people are still doing today, or not actually as well too.
Is that your 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I am also going to say Matt Emig. What? What are you shaking?
I just missed a couple people that I want to put, but it's
Oh,
okay. But I mean, that's just it,
What are you
man.
gonna do? You can only pick 5. Well, stuff's gonna happen. I'm also gonna pick Matt Emig, which by the way, insiders, one of the coolest interviews we ever did. Go listen
Yeah,
to the Matt Emig
yeah.
show. That was super fun.
It was.
I'm also gonna say Calvin Choka, which we haven't had him on the show. We need to make that happen.
Yeah.
Guy's been brought up like every other episode.
Yeah.
I gotta say Rudy
Yeah.
Rendon. Now is where it gets really fun.
See, I didn't even put Casey in there. Like,
Yeah,
Casey would be he's my favorite bow competitor. So
I'm gonna go Dong Jin Q.
oh, there we go.
Dong Jin Q. There's one out of left field. All right, and then Jackson Rudolph.
Yeah.
You knew that one was coming.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, we went all over the place. That was good. What up, Kyle? Long time no see, man. All right, forms. You gonna go first this time?
Oh yeah. What are we doing first, men's or women's?
Well, we weren't doing that, but do you want to do that? Do you want to split it up?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're not. Oh no. Let's go. Let's keep doing with what we're doing.
All right.
Okay, so we're keeping it together. Oh boy, you're gonna make me go.
Kyle.
Oh boy. Shut your mouth, Troy. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Was that what? How many years did I win this year? Was that 3?
Did you win again this year? Oh man.
3 years in a row, man. Inside scoop, baby. Inside scoop fancy champ. Let's go.
We gotta get, we're gonna make a trophy this year. All right, but anyway. Okay. My favorite CMX. It's my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Emig. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Carmichael Simon.
Mm.
Marcel Jones. I only have 2 spots left. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is not fair. Only 2 spots left. Let's say I almost want to say Rudy, but no, I'm not going to say that.
Come on.
It's hard, man. It's hard. I guess. No, I can't say that.
There's no wrong answers. Come on.
Oh no, there's be some wrong answers if I was saying what I was just thinking.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Matt Emig is what I said.
Carmichael Simon.
Marcel Jones.
You still got 2 more?
I know I got 2 more, but there's so many. Okay. Which one?
I mean, there's a whole like 20 years that we're missing right there. I know. It's hard.
Let me say
jeez, man.
It's John Valera.
Yeah. It's John Valera. Yeah.
It's John Valera. I was trying to think of a way. I was trying to is it not John Valera? I was like, it's John Valera. John Valera is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And no, it's not Daniel Sterling. Get that out of there.
Wow. Jeez.
That's a great name, though. That's a great name.
I was watching a video of him today. It was awesome.
But I will say it's probably Kim Do. Kim Do is one of my favorites. Kim Do. Heck yeah. I almost said Vince Johnson for like CMX weapons.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. John Valera. Stephen Ho. All right.
There you go.
it's hard. Matt Emick, I got to put him in there.
Isn't he everyone's favorite?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who doesn't love Matt Emick? I don't know anyone. Oh my gosh, I just realized who I left off my list. I'm a Dumbo.
There, Daryl Lewis. Daryl Lewis is one of my favorites to
I knew
compete
that
against and favorites to watch. A legend in the NBL circuit and all over. And then that fifth one is tough, man. It's like there's so many different ones that could, we could put from the 80s, the 90s. You know what? No, here we go. I put him as my number one kicker, Kingston Ing.
Yeah, that checks out. That's appropriate.
Why not?
Okay.
Right?
I have to make an amendment to
Oh,
mine.
God.
No, I feel this strongly about it. Okay.
Yeah, David Douglas. Dang.
David Douglas is one of my listen. I loved David Douglas's stuff. David Douglas so much, and David Douglas and Kim Do, they're like essentially, bred the same way. In the sense from the West Coast demo team.
Right.
But I'm gonna take Kim off. I'm gonna put on Steve Terada.
Okay.
Because Steve Terada is one of my favorites. Heck yeah.
Yeah. That's true. See, with me, there's like Anthony Atkins is someone who was just so much fun for me. So it's like hard to where do you put that, right? But then,
Right. Because
did I say Michael too?
listen, I don't think
I just
Anthony
forgot
Atkins
him
got.
over.
I don't think he got the kind of love and respect that he deserved at the time, because he did things that we had never seen before, and not really seen that much sense. Right. And he's been gone from the competition scene for over 20 years. Over 20 years in a sport where it gets better week after week. And we haven't seen a guy like that. The closest I think we've seen to a guy like that is Alan Davies, right?
Yeah.
Who could be there, but not as many events. But really, I don't think he got as much respect because he did things that were so crazy that your brain couldn't believe what your eyes were seeing. That all you could see were his flaws, which he did have them, right? He had them. But it was like, oh, wow, his hands aren't like that. Did you literally see from my camera that's in the back of the room, had to change its trajectory to keep him in frame?
Right.
That's how high he jumped. Nobody jumped that high.
Right.
Nobody jumped that high.
Right.
Jason Borelli had that big, huge jump front kick. That was high. Like he could have dunked a basketball with his foot. That was crazy high. And there was a couple of guys who had like a single move that could get high like that. But Anthony did it on every single jump. He was that high. And it did not make any sense. Wow.
All right.
Man, I'm amped up.
This was fun. So the thing is,
I went and visited a customer's house today because we were just starting their whole kitchen remodel project. And one time I was over at her house, I commented because she asked me if I wanted a cup of coffee. Oh wait, by the way, anybody who's in sales, if anybody asks you if you want a cup of coffee, always say yes. You don't have to finish the cup. Always say yes. It makes them feel so much better that they get to be a host for you. So it's a disarming, technique. So I said yes, and I commented, and I said, "Wow, this is an amazing coffee mug. This is really nice. Look at this thing. Look at how big this thing is. As big as my head, right? Look at this thing, right? It's huge. It's a really nice coffee mug." So we go over there, starting the project today. Demo. I go in there in like the middle of demo. She's got a check in hand waiting for me. And she goes, "Hey, would your kids like this kite?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. My kids would like this kite." And she goes, "Here, I want to give this to you too." And she gives me 2 of these coffee mugs. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "I know that you said that you liked them.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd give them to you. Sometimes I get bored and I want to change things up." Yeah. That's great. Cool. Just comment. Just compliment people on different things. I think that's something that they do in like Japan. Like if you compliment someone's like lamp, they just give you the lamp.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
That's awesome.
She's definitely.
And
not
we had We had a good show talking about Ocean State. We're excited to see everybody there. It's going to be like, I feel like this, like we have so much energy and pumped up for AKA. And then
outside of the caffeine.
And then it's like now Ocean State is kind of giving us this in April, and then we're gonna get it again in the summer, when it's like Battle and US Open and everything else. And then you got Diamonds, and then you got all the European tournaments that are going on, you got World Championships. It's just gonna be awesome. So keep sharing, guys. Go and check out Ocean State Grand Nationals. If you are not sure about going, go and check it out. All right.
Yeah.
So many of you guys are in driving distance. Go support and be there for just the sport, and for Don and Chris. They've been doing amazing things for our sport. So
I think we're at a state in the sport that if the event is within driving distance, it's your fault if you're not there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, unless you're doing something drastically different with your life and you are a competitor, this is you. Like you just need to be at this event. Like you need to kind of like check it off. There should be 5 to 6 events that you're at a year, right?
Right.
If that's who you are, this is your thing. It should be 5 to 6 events. And if you're going to be at 5 or 6 events a year, how is one of them not Ocean State Grand Nationals?
Right.
It doesn't make sense, right? Not with the kind of talent that's going to be in that building, not with like the upside, right? Win, loss, right? And what did we do? Remember last week when we had Marty on, we just talked stories about memories that we
We're
have
gonna do this weekend,
this
man.
time that we have as an active competitor at a super high level, unless your name is Jeff Doss, right? Doesn't exist forever, right? But really, that we stay in this sport for forever, right? I mean, Marty's what?
Just someone who probably should have been on our list of favorites just text me asking me for help. It's just crazy. I'll tell you later. I don't know. I don't understand my world sometimes, man. I love it.
You're not gonna tell me who it is?
I'll tell you off air.
Oh man, it's like this. It's like this.
I'm just saying I'm blessed, man. It's cool to the opportunities that I get these days. So
it's probably good that you stopped me because I would have went for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, this was fun. And I can't wait to see what happens at Ocean State this weekend. It's going to be a great time.
We're going to have a big episode on Monday.
Yep.
All right.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Keep sharing. Keep showing love.